made it, Quattro. Hi guys, it's your friendly desert cul-de-sac Sarah here, standing awkwardly in front of a brand new car. Yay! Today I'm going to be reviewing this 2019 Audi A5 Sportback Quattro S-Line. Kind of a mouthful. Anyway, if you're new to my channel, there's a link up above to a playlist on my own Audi TT Quattro project car that I named Teeter Tot. So the rest of you, you know how exciting this is for me to be able to review a brand new Audi because I own an Audi, although it's a $2,500 turd that is nowhere nice as this thing is. Audi's really clever about these sportbacks. They're sneaky because they know Americans don't like wagons and hatchbacks. So they make it look like a sedan, but you still get the functionality of a wagon almost. With Valentine's Day coming up, I figured I'd put this little segment in here about it being a sportback. Not only does this car have a nice booty, it's also picnic approved. So if you want to take this car on a road trip and enjoy a picnic with your sweetheart, there's tons of room for two people to sit widthwise here. The fact that the hatch opens up at an angle, it just blocks the sunlight and the wind just enough to make it comfortable back here. And then the portion where your legs are going to stick out, the edge of the trunk, is nice and broad and it's curved, so your legs aren't going to go numb or fall asleep with them resting at the back of the car. And then when you remove this rear deck lid piece that goes behind me, there's tons of room to turn and access your snacks. And if you really want to, these seats fold down. They'll give you even more space for activities. Now the interior, I'm gonna make this short, sweet, and to the point. I'll point out what I like, what I don't like, and what is just kind of odd about the interior of this car. The stuff that I do like, I feel that you are getting every dollar's worth when you spend $56,000 on this car. It feels like a $56,000 car. The Google Earth display that you can have on your gauge cluster that shows you exactly where you are, like a topographical map that you would have on Google Earth. Topography, whatever. It's so cool seeing the trees and the ditches and the dead grass, and well, at least it doesn't show the trash on the side of the road, but it's so neat seeing that in your gauge cluster while you're driving. I do like the wood grain dash, which is really weird. I usually don't like wood grain dash, but it's so classy looking, and I don't know why, it almost feels like it has this like 80s vibe to it with the wood grain, and then you have the brushed aluminum Quattro badge and the brushed aluminum around the digital climate controller. It's kind of like a retro throwback that is really like classy and pretty looking. Unfortunately, the Bang & Olufsen sound system in this car is not banging. I wasn't a fan of it. I've been a fan of their products in other vehicles, but in this A5 Sportback, no. The one downside I have to point out, and this is something I noticed on my 2001 Audi TT also, is the material Audi uses for their trunk lining. Although it looks good, it is not very durable. As you can see, this car has about 5,000 miles on it, and it has scrapes and scratches all over. So if you're gonna buy one of these, I definitely recommend getting the upgraded all-weather mat for back here. I did find the sunroof shade kind of weird, how it's translucent. You can see through it, and I actually really like it. It's a nice touch, it's a nice feature. But the 7-speed dual clutch transmission, definite win. However, the gear selector you use to move from park, neutral, reverse, etc. is strange. I don't know how many times I found myself throwing this car in reverse when I meant to put it in park, because park is a button on the gear selector. When you put it all the way forward, that's reverse. This does have a color changing ambient lighting option, which you see on a lot of other manufacturers, but I feel in this Audi, the way that is delivered, the color accents are in the absolute perfect spot. They kind of accent the natural shapes of the interior of the car, and especially the ones that run along the top side of the door panel. They're so thin and so vibrant, they almost look like laser lights. They're just so pretty. I don't have a name for this. Shout out names below in the comment section for what you would name this car if it was yours. Ha! Okay, real quick, some exterior bits that I thought were a huge win is the duckbill spoiler that's incorporated into the deck lid of the car above the LED taillights. Kind of gives it that A7 vibe a little bit. I love how the S-Line bumper looks on this car. It's like a subtle tease of what you could have if you only spent some more money and got the RS5 Sportback. Oh. Be still my heart. I think Audi kind of missed out on the opportunity of powder coating and painting the factory brake calipers though, especially with the S-Line package. I just feel like they would look better if they were maybe gloss black with a little S-Line logo on them, or even if they were just silver with the S-Line logo. Overall, the A5 has a really aggressive and muscular stance to it. I like it a lot. It's like a bodybuilder wearing a tailored scuba blue suit or something. Time to get nerdy. It was so cringy. All right, this is the part where I bring the car in the garage and pop the hood so we can talk about the engine and transmission and drivetrain and just get all nerdy talking about car specs. My favorite part of the video. So this right here is the EA888 Gen 3. It is a cast iron block, aluminum head, 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that puts out 252 horsepower at 5,000 to 6,000 RPM and 273 pound-feet of torque at 1,600 to 6,000 RPM. I think, roughly. Anyway, today, because I own a TT, Teeter Tot, he's over here and we're going to compare the differences between the Quattro system found in this A5 and the Quattro found in the TT. What you see in front of me is the Quattro found in the A4 through A8 models, where it is a longitudinally mounted engine. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, the belts are at the front of the engine right here, and the transmission is found at the rear of the engine. So the engine is in line this way. The Quattro you see here in my Audi TT, which is also the same in models like the A3 and other models, I believe overseas they have the A1, we don't get that in the States, but this is a transversely mounted engine. So the belts are over here on the side, the transmission's over here, and as far as sending the power to the rear, there's a transfer case that sends the power back to a Haldex unit. I know this is a real brief summary of the different types of Quattro. I didn't really dig in deep on this, so if you guys want to learn more about it, I'm putting a video in the description below that's actually hilarious, and they go in depth talking about the different types of Quattro, talk about Haldex units, the different generations of Quattro, and all kinds of nerdy specs about how much power is sent front to rear and how it's distributed. Definitely check it out if you want a good laugh and if you want to learn some more. One complaint I have to point out though, and this is a problem that Audi has had since the late 90s with the B5 generation, is this flap that hides the brake master cylinder and the battery over there is just like, for this thing being a $56,000 car, you think you'd get something a little bit better than this. It doesn't even fit. Like, it's so wonky. But I mean, there's not much else I can complain about this car. I really enjoy this A5. Driving this car right now is making me really question why I need a crossover as a daily driver. Sure, I love Subarus. I am always going to be diehard Subaru, but I also love Audis too. I'm just a fan of rally cars, and Audi and Subaru both have a huge heritage with rally racing. This A5 Sportback, I feel, is the perfect size for a practical daily driver, whether you have a family or you don't have a family. For me, I mean, this is like the ultimate road trip car. Super comfy, tons of room to haul stuff, and because it's a Sportback, you can put the rear seats down. It's almost like a wagon, so it's super practical. I'm going through a Border Patrol checkpoint, and I'm gonna ask the Border Patrol guys if I can review one of their Border Patrol Raptors. What do you think they'll say? Hi. I have a question. Think it'd ever be possible to do a review on one of your guys' Raptors? I think that would be so cool.
That'd be a question for that guy.
Really?
On the Raptors?
Yeah.
That's not something I can authorize, but I can sure give you the contact information if
Yeah.
spare that.
That would be awesome. I'll see if I can work that out for you guys. A Border Patrol Raptor review. That'd be sick. Okay, back to the review of this car. I love how you can drive this car hard and it definitely performs, yet if you want to drive it comfortably and just kind of cruise, it'll do that too. I got comfort, auto, dynamic, and individual. Comfort and dynamic, when you have it in auto, kind of uses both of those settings. So if I put it in individual lets you adjust your engine transmission, the steering, the engine sound generation, and ACC accessory. So I have it in dynamic because there's no point going to individual for me, because I would just put everything in dynamic anyway, because I'm about that life. And driving it in dynamic does not mean you're gonna have a harsh ride. It's in dynamic right now. It's smooth, it's comfortable, it performs well. I did try it out in comfort and it was almost kind of boring. It was just not very engaging. It was comfortable and quiet and smooth to an extreme level. I guess kind of what you'd want in a luxury car. So it makes sense having that feature in here. Oh yeah, get it, Quattro. at this horse poop in the road. Dude, this thing is so stable and planted. Oh my God. So good, it's so good. I would love to hear this car with the aftermarket exhaust so you can hear those DSG farts. Yes, I just said I wanted to hear the car's farts. If you've ever driven a car with a dual clutch gearbox before, especially a Volkswagen Auto Group one, you'll know what I'm talking about. For those of you that care about fuel economy, for the week I've had this car, I've been averaging 24.6 miles per gallon, which combined is supposed to average 24, so that's good. Should average 34 on the highway, and I don't see any reason why it would not be even better, that mile per gallon rating. The one thing that I have to point out though is this 15.7 gallon gas tank, I believe it's 15.7, it's over 15 gallons, had a 500 mile range when the car was delivered to me. Perfect road trip car. Being able to go 500 miles on a tank of gas, that's incredible. All right, now the important bits. If you guys have never seen one of my car reviews before, I do what's called a bean score, and it's a rating of 1 to 5 beans based on the inertia you feel in your stomach when you giveth thy beans in the automobile. So, Sam Squanch over here, and that's the name we're going with, Sam Squanch, because it's scuba blue and it's a Quattro, and if you jumble those letters together, you get Sam Squanch. Science. Anyway, Sam Squanch gets 2 beans. Quattro. That's so lame. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week with another video. Bye. Hi, this is a car review. I don't know why I'm standing like this. I just thought that's what car models are supposed to do. And I'm not a model, I'm a mechanic, but sometimes it's nice to try. It's starting to get windy out and I smell dog poop. It's not a winning combination right now. Why would I say that? That doesn't even make any sense.